Let's talk about the human shoulder. I mean, it is an absolute marvel of engineering. It has more freedom, more range of motion than any other joint in your entire body. But all of that incredible mobility, it comes with a hidden cost. It's this constant, ongoing battle against instability. And that paradox is what we're going to dive into.
I mean, seriously, think about it. The shoulder is, hands down, the most mobile joint we have. You can swing it, lift it, rotate your arm in pretty much any direction you can think of. It's a masterpiece of design. But that just begs the question, right? What's the catch? There has to be a trade-off for all that freedom. So, what is it?
To really get it, let's just quickly compare the shoulder to, say, the hip. Now, the hip is your classic ball and socket joint, but it's buried deep inside this big, stable pelvic structure. It's secure. The shoulder, on the other hand, well, it connects to your whole torso at basically one single, almost flimsy-looking point. And that design is what gives it this massive range of motion the hip could only dream of.
And that right there, that gets us to the core of the problem. This whole setup, which is so biased towards mobility, makes stabilizing the shoulder incredibly difficult. The very thing that makes it so amazing, all that freedom, is also its single greatest challenge.
This image here shows it perfectly. There's a classic analogy for the shoulder joint, a golf ball on a tee. The golf ball is the big round head of your upper arm bone, the humerus. And the tee? Well, that's the glenoid, a super small, super shallow socket on your shoulder blade. As you can see, there's hardly any bony contact, which means the bones themselves offer next to no stability. It's just not a stable setup.
So how in the world does the body solve this engineering puzzle? Well, the first line of defense is what we call the passive support system. These are structures that aren't muscles. Think of them more like ropes and bumpers that just provide some basic baseline stability.
So let's meet this passive crew. First up, you've got the glenoid labrum. It's this little ring of cartilage that basically makes the teep deeper, turning it a little more into a cup. That helps. Then you have the joint capsule and a whole bunch of ligaments. And these all act like passive guy wires, just helping to hold the joint together.
But here's the kicker, and this is a really key insight from our source material. All that stuff, it's just not enough. The second you pick something up, or you throw a ball, or even just fight against gravity, this passive system gets overwhelmed. It's totally insufficient. The body needs a much, much better solution.
And that brings us to the real heroes of this story, the dynamic stabilizers. Now we're talking about muscles. These are the active, intelligent parts of the system that are working constantly, every single second, to keep that golf ball centered perfectly on the tee.
And the first group of heroes you've probably heard of, the rotator cuff. Now, it's a team of 4 muscles that basically hug the shoulder joint. And here's the thing, their main job isn't even really to rotate the arm. No, their primary, most important job is to pull the head of that humerus inward, compressing it right into that shallow socket. They are the ultimate joint centerers.
And here's the team. You've got the supraspinatus running across the top, the infraspinatus and teres minor in the back, and the subscapularis in the front. You can see how, together, they form this kind of compressive cuff all around the joint, giving you stability from almost every direction.
But the rotator cuff can't do its job if the thing it's anchored to is all wobbly, right? I mean, imagine trying to fire a cannon from a canoe. It's just not going to work. The rotator cuff muscles, they all attach to the scapula, your shoulder blade. So that scapula has to be rock solid for the cuff to have any chance of working properly. And this is where our second team of heroes comes in, the scapular anchors. These are the muscles that basically hold the canoe steady. We're talking about big ones, like the trapezius, the serratus anterior that wraps around your ribs, and the rhomboids that connect you to your spine. Their entire job is to lock that shoulder blade down against your rib cage, giving you that stable platform you need. Now here's where it gets really beautiful. None of these muscles work by themselves. Shoulder stability isn't about one muscle being super strong. It's about coordination. It's this incredible, complex symphony of muscles all working together perfectly.
And the secret to this whole symphony is a concept called a force couple. This is just a fancy way of saying you have muscles on opposite sides of a joint pulling in different directions. But instead of just yanking the bone back and forth, their forces combine to create pure, clean, efficient rotation.
Here is a perfect example. To rotate your shoulder blade up when you lift your arm, the upper trapezius pulls up and in. At the same time, the serratus anterior pulls down and out. Those opposing pulls actually cancel each other out, and the result is a perfect, smooth upward spin of the shoulder blade. It's unbelievably clever and efficient. And this amazing coordinated dance between the main shoulder joint and the shoulder blade is so important that it has its own name. We call it the scapulohumeral rhythm. It is absolutely the key to moving your arm smoothly and safely through its entire range of motion.
So what does this rhythm actually look like? Well, check this out. For every 3 degrees you lift your arm, 2 of those degrees come from the main shoulder joint, and 1 of those degrees comes from the shoulder blade rotating. It's this super consistent 2-to-1 ratio. That full 180 degrees of overhead motion, it's a team effort. 120 degrees from the main joint and a crucial 60 from the scapula.
Okay, let's break that down. So you go to raise your arm. The very first bit of movement comes from the muscles at the main joint, like your deltoid. But almost immediately, that force couple, the trapezius and serratus anterior, kicks in, and your shoulder blade starts rotating up. This sets up that perfect 2-to-1 rhythm, and that's what allows for a powerful, stable, and complete lift of your arm overhead.
Okay, that was a lot of anatomy. But let's bring it back. Why does all of this complex biomechanics stuff actually matter to you in your day-to-day life?
Well, it's because this incredible muscular coordination is the foundation for literally everything your arm does. It's the exact same symphony of movement at play, whether you're just reaching for a can on the top shelf, or you're a professional athlete throwing a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. It is that fundamental to all movement.
So in the end, it all comes back to this one simple idea, which our source material says perfectly. It's all about the importance of muscular support. The bones and ligaments, they just provide the stage. But it's the muscles, that whole symphony of performers, that actually make the show happen. Shoulder stability is active, not passive.
So, if you take one thing away from this, it should be this. Your shoulder stability isn't just there. It's not a given. It is an active, dynamic, ongoing performance put on by this incredibly complex team of muscles. And that leaves us with one final, really important question to think about. Are you supporting the performers?